محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, before we start the salah, alhamdulillah, we have a good news. We have another brother accepting the shahada. Inshallah, we'll do it before the Jum'ah so we can get the reward of the Jum'ah. So inshallah, I'm waiting for Dr. Hijazi to come. Meanwhile, inshallah, quick reminders again, brothers, any donation, any zakat donation that you will give today, inshallah, it will go for under the khair program for Gaza, for Yemen and Rohingya, Kashmir, 100%. ISJH will not keep any dollars and will make sure that inshallah your donation will go to the needy. Again, any zakat donation you will give online or in the box, in the zakat box, inshallah it will go for this cause. Don't forget zakat al-fitr, $15 per person. Do it as soon as possible, inshallah, to give us enough time, inshallah, the ISJH to distribute this locally here in Houston. The Ramadan Quran competition is tomorrow, inshallah, Saturday, and we have two youth events. The girls' qiyam is tonight, and the boys' qiyam is the Saturday night. We are still looking for vendors for the champions tent outside. If you are interested, please talk to me, talk to the admin. We are still looking to fill the tent, inshallah, for the remaining 2 weeks of Ramadan. Now, this is a call for any families with special needs. Any families with special needs, we are having iftar this Tuesday only for families with special needs. Inshallah, register. So inshallah, we can break bread together. Inshallah, this coming Tuesday, it is by registration, March 18. And with that, inshallah, we'll, Dr. Hijaz, inshallah, will do the shahada.
Brandon. Assalamu alaikum. So we have Brother Brandon who wants to declare his Shahada today, and this will be his first prayer, right?
Yes.
As Muslim? Okay, what a blessing. In Ramadan, and this is the most important prayer in the week, the Friday sermon. Okay, great. So your name?
Brandon.
If you may get it closer to you.
Brandon.
Brandon, okay. Brandon, inshallah, I know you've been talking to some of your friends about it. So you already know the 5 pillars of Islam and the prayer, the fasting, the charity, the Hajj, and you're all okay. So we'll proceed with it, right?
Yes.
Okay, super.
Still learning everything too.
Still learning, yes. We will be. We will go on the journey together. How about that?
Sounds good.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's do it in Arabic first and then English. Okay. So can you hold it closer to your mouth? Okay. So we'll say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. I bear witness there is no God worthy of worship except Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is His messenger.
Okay.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay.
Ashhadu
Ashhadu
an la
alla
ilaha
ilaha
illa
illa
Allah
Allah
wa ashhadu
wa ashhadu
anna
anna
Muhammadan
Muhammadan
Rasulu
Rasulu
Allah.
Allah.
I bear witness
I bear witness
that there is no God worthy of worship
there is no God worthy of worship
except Allah.
except Allah.
I bear witness
I bear witness
that Muhammad
that Muhammad
is His messenger.
is His messenger.
MashaAllah. Barakallah fikum. So you know, those are all your brothers, by the way. But not only that, you have brothers everywhere in the globe. So over 1 billion. So you can.
That's awesome.
Congratulations, Habibi. Barakallah fikum. Yeah. Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
إن الحمد لله أحمده وأستعينه وأستغفره وأستهديه وأعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله صفوة الخلق وخليله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على خير خلقك ورسلك نبينا وإمامنا وحبيبنا وقدوتنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليمًا كثيرًا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. The third pillar in Islam is zakat. First pillar is shahada, second is salah, third is zakat. And then the fourth is fasting the month of Ramadan, and the last one is the Hajj. Zakat, to many of the Muslims, is timed at Ramadan. And it is because how Muslims usually treat Ramadan as being the most holy month, and they would like to get the barakah in it. And perhaps many of us are preparing zakat these days, if not already have done this. And it's very important for all of us to have a frequent reminders about not only the zakat and its time, but also about some of the rulings that many of us perhaps may be not aware of. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mandated zakat in the early time of Islam. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to take it from the people or ask some or delegate others to take it from the people and spend it in the classes that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in the Quran. Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he sent the Sahaba to spread the da'wah, one of the companion, Mu'adh radiallahu anhu, was sent to Yemen, and he told him, you will be approaching people from the people of the book. So when you approach them, invite them to La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah. If they accept that, then tell them about the 5 daily prayer. If they accept that, then tell them about this zakat, that they need to pay. Those who are capable need to pay that zakat and give it to the ones who are incapable. And that went to the other pillars, but it is actually something that he ﷺ would always remind people about, whether they are Muslims or new Muslims per se. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said in the Quran, وَالَّذِينَ يَكْنِزُونَ الذَّهَبَ وَالْفِضَّةَ وَلَا يُنْفِقُونَ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ فَبَشِّرْهُمْ بِعَذَابٍ أَلِيمٍ. Those who gather and collect and store and save gold and silver, but they do not pay charity from it, or the zakat from it, then they will have the severe punishment in the day of judgment. Allah said, يَوْمَ يُحْمَى عَلَيْهَا فِي نَارِ جَهَنَّمَ فَتُكْوَى بِهَا جِبَاهُهُمْ وَجُنُوبُهُمْ وَظُهُورُهُم. That on the day of judgment, those things that people have collected, gold and silver, without paying charity on, they will be heated in the day of judgment, and وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, the person will be ironed with those with the very things that he or she has saved without paying zakat on. So that would apply to all their bodies. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. It's a severe thing. It's one of the things, one of the pillars where the ulama have said, if someone negated, if someone says, I don't have to pay zakat, then that takes them out of the fold of Islam to that extent. So what is it in particular? What are the specifics of zakat? Zakat in Arabic, in pure Arabic, it means to grow. So when you pay zakat, you're actually taking some money out of your pocket to give it to the needy ones. But in fact, Allah has called it zakat because it grows your wealth. When you pay for that charity, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will reimburse you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will recompensate you in your life before the hereafter. So that's why it's called zakat. It's called the growth of your money, although you are actually taking money out of your pocket. But look at it from a long term as opposed to just the moment when you pay that zakat. And also zakat in Arabic means purification. وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا زَكَّاهَا, that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talked about purifying someone's soul through using the word zakah. In Sharia, zakat is really to pay from the money that you have to certain categories if you have possessed that money above certain threshold for an entire lunar calendar year. So what does that say? It says that if there is a threshold that if you meet with your wealth or with what you own, then when we call that threshold nisab, then you are due to pay that zakat. But when does that happen? It happens once every year. So the condition here is that every Muslim who is free, who is capable, who is actually baligh, and has possessed this threshold for an entire lunar year, must pay that zakat. So what is that threshold? And who will be the recipients of it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned that in the Quran, إِنَّمَا الصَّدَقَاتُ لِلْفُقَرَاءِ وَالْمَسَاكِينِ وَالْعَامِلِينَ عَلَيْهَا وَالْمُؤَلَّفَةِ قُلُوبُهُمْ وَفِي الرِّقَابِ وَالْغَارِمِينَ وَفِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ. 8 categories. Fuqara and Masakin are the needy ones. In a very, very nutshell, Fuqara and Masakin both can be defined as those whose essential needs are more than their income. So if a person has essential needs that are like life-threatening, that cannot be covered by their income, then those are under that category. In other words, if a person can live, has a shelter, has something to wear, has food, has all those basic things, and the problem here is about more of some luxurious things, like instead of having just something to commute with, they need to buy like a new car. That cannot be a person who would receive zakat. So that's fuqara and masakin. Amilin alayha are those who have devoted their life to just distribute zakat. They can get from the zakat because that would be their salary themselves. وَالْمُؤَلَّفَةُ قُلُوبُهُمْ, those who have just embraced Islam, especially if that money might be helping them throughout their journey, or those who are yet to accept Islam but they are very close in their stage. وَفِي الرِّقَابِ, to free slaves. Alhamdulillah, in the history of Islam, it was the fastest process of freeing slaves in the history of mankind. Slaves were there everywhere and every time. But when Islam came, it was the only one religion on top of earth that has urged everyone to free people from slavery. Through zakat, through kafarat, through multiple things in Islam. And subhanAllah, what a blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants His servant to be free in this life, and not to be slaves of others. So وَفِي الرِّقَابِ is that one. وَالْغَارِمِينَ, those people who are buried with their debts, people who have been taking money from others as debt because of some needs, but then they came to a point where there's in no way they can pay off that debt. Those are called غَارِمِينَ. وَفِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ, it's actually in the jihad fi sabilillah. وَابْنِ السَّبِيلِ, those who are on travel but they were disconnected from their families, disconnected from their wealth. They have been in a position or in a state where they have no access to their wealth temporarily, and those are the ones that we call وابن السبيل. So فقراء مساكين العاملين عليها المؤلفة قلوبهم في الرقاب غارمين في سبيل الله وابن السبيل. Those are the 8 categories that can receive your zakat. And they all must be Muslims except for the مؤلفة قلوبهم. Which means that zakat cannot go to through what unfortunately there are some people nowadays who say you can deduct your tax from the zakat, or you can use your zakat towards tax return, and that is not correct. It is not permissible to consider your tax return as part of your zakat for 2 reasons. One is that zakat must go to Muslims, and second, zakat must go to one of those 8 categories, and it just cannot go in any other venue. So those who say, don't worry, your zakat include the money that you have paid for your tax, this is haram. This is absolute haram. There's no difference of opinion between scholars about this. Now, who should pay zakat? We said Muslim, who is capable and who is baligh. So what is the threshold that a person should pay zakat when they possess for 1 year? Actually, even to answer this question, so what are the monies, the type of monies or assets that people have to pay zakat on? In Islam, there are actually 5 categories. There is the gold and silver, and any monetary thing that you use as a money. So your money, including gold and silver, currency, and all those things that we use in exchange, those are due for zakat. If they go above a certain threshold, which we call it nisab. Similarly, anything that is considered as business merchandise, or like goods for trading. You have a store, you are selling, let's say, food. That you are buying food and selling food. You have a stocks, you buy stocks, you sell stocks. Anything that is meant for business trading is also due for zakat. Now, people who have farms, they have their own zakat. And people who have animals like cattle, they also are due for zakat. But let's take those on the side, because most of us perhaps fall under the first 2 categories, where we have some money with us, or some gold and silver, or that we have some business trading goods or merchandise that we must pay zakat on. So the minimum or the threshold actually that Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has told us is 20 dinar min al-dhahab or 200 dirham min al-fidda, which is like equivalent to what we have in today's weight. If you possess 85 grams of gold, or its equivalent in currency, or if you possess 595 grams of silver, or its equivalence in today's currency, then you are due for zakat. So today's time, just today, the 1 gram of gold is almost 90 something. So you multiply $90 something by the 85 grams, which is the pure gold, the 21 karat, and that gives you the threshold. If you do it today, of course the price of gold fluctuates up and down, but if you do it just today, the price is, the threshold is almost at $8,000 US. So if you possess $8,000 for a whole lunar calendar year, then you are due for zakat. If what you have in your savings, if what you have in the gold that you trade, that you have at home, or things, goods that you trade, if the value of all of this combined is $8,000 US or more, then you are due for zakat. And I'm saying 8,000 just because of the value of gold today, but that value of gold fluctuates, so we have to really do this calculation every single time that we do our zakat. Actually, a few years ago, that threshold was about 6,000. Today, the price of gold has gone up. So that's actually what a person should look for. And we have to understand that it is the lunar calendar, the Hijri year, not the Gregorian year. There are 11 days difference between them. In other words, many people, especially merchants, who have goods for sale, like you have a pharmacy and you have goods there, or you probably have a grocery store and you have multiple things that you are selling. Their inventory happens at one of the Gregorian calendar year. And unfortunately, they rely on that inventory for their own zakat. Well, while you can always rely on inventory, you cannot just dedicate or devote one Gregorian calendar day to do your zakat. It must be the lunar calendar year. And that is why it's very easy for Muslims to remember their day of zakat if they use, for example, one of the Ramadan days for it. Because when Ramadan comes, that is a one Hijri year, and they don't need really to check the calendar at their own zakat due time. Now, subhanAllah, in many situations, people ask about, okay, well, I have things that I do for investment. For example, you live in your house. Your house is not due for zakat. You have your own car that you use. That is not due for zakat. However, if you have another house, or you work in the real estate and you buy and sell houses, then those houses that you buy and sell, they are due for zakat. So anything that you are using for trading is due for zakat. Now, there are situations where you have multiple homes and you are actually investing in renting them. Do you have to pay zakat on them? No. The homes that are not meant for sale themselves are not meant for zakat. But whatever you are earning through the rental is due for zakat, because that becomes your own asset, becomes your own money. Similarly, brothers and sisters, people always ask about trading in stocks. Stocks actually have 3 conditions. And of course, we're assuming that we are trading in halal stocks and not haram ones. If a person has the stocks, they have to really evaluate their value at the time of his or her zakat. So say you're doing your zakat on the 20th of Ramadan. On that day, you have to look at all your stocks and see their current value. And then those stocks are of two types. They are either stocks that you are investing for the long term, so you don't really plan to do a short trading, like the day trading kind of habit, where you buy them when they are low in price and then you sell them when they are high in price. Rather, there are people who say, I work for company XYZ, the company gives me their stocks, and I'm just keeping them. I don't really need to buy more or to sell them. I would rather take them for years to come. So the intent here is not really to trade the stocks. This is exactly like a person who purchases a property and rent that property. So for those type of stocks that are not meant for trading, they are meant for long-term investment, like maybe 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, then they are not due for zakat for their own value. But any dividend or any growth of them is due for zakat, because that is a growth on your asset. So in other words, if you have those stocks that, for example, you work for XYZ and XYZ has given you those stocks, you don't plan to trade, you don't plan to sell or buy, so they are in your asset, and their value today is, say, 10,000. Next year, their value becomes 12,000. Your zakat is due on the difference, the delta. The 2,000 increment is what you have to pay zakat on. On the other hand, there are people who are like the short-term traders, like the day traders. People who are actually looking for those stocks almost on a daily basis. They are checking when the stocks go in a low peak or in a high peak, and they make their own trading accordingly. For those people, they're using the stocks as goods or merchandise to trade. So for those people, zakat is due on the total value of their stocks. In other words, let's say that I work for XYZ, but I'm also a trader, so I'm buying stocks from ABC, and I'm buying stocks from X and Y and other things. So at the time when my zakat is due, I have to see the value of all my stocks, and I have to pay zakat on all the total value combined, because those stocks are not meant like renting a property, they are meant for trading, and anything that people have for trading must be zakatable. With that said, people usually ask another question about the gold that their women use as jewelry. If you have gold like the ounce, or those big pieces that you are storing at home, those are due for zakat by all ulama. But the one question that the ulama have difference of opinion about is, what about jewelry that our sisters use? So your wife has something on the hand, or maybe around her neck, whatever it is that she is using on a regular basis. There is a difference of opinion. In the Hanafi madhab, they are due for zakat. In all other madahib, they are not due for zakat. However, wallahu ta'ala ala wa alam, it is better for a person to be on the safe side, because the difference of opinion in this mas'ala is very, very strong, very strong. And Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah ta'ala has made it that there is no difference between gold that you store or that you trade or gold that a woman wear. So wallahu ta'ala ala wa alam, it is better for all of us, even if you're not following the Hanafi madhab, that you pay zakat on that. That is a strong opinion in fiqh. And actually, many of our scholars who are not Hanafi, they have adopted this opinion because of how strong the hadith that they rely on in the fiqh of Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah ta'ala. For any past year that you've not been following this, don't worry about them. But once you know this, it is important that you take the weight of that, you get the value of it, and you consider this as part of your own assets that you need to pay zakat on. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فاستغفروه وتوبوا إليه والله غفور رحيم. الحمد لله على إحسانه والشكر له على توفيقه وامتنانه وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله تعظيما لشانه وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله الداعي إلى رضوانه اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على خير خلقك ورسلك نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. Another common question that people ask is 401k plan or any like retirement plan. People usually invest in this. Your employer may be participating in that as well. The issue about 401k or similar plans is that the money is actually named after you, but you just cannot take it. And if you want to take it before it is due, then there will be a lot of taxes and penalties that will be applied to it. Sometimes it goes all the way to 40 or 50%. So say, for example, you have 100,000 in your 401k. If you are asking for it now to take that money or withdraw that money, then most likely they will apply penalties and taxes, and all what you will get perhaps is 60,000 or maybe a little less or a little more. So is there zakat on that? Zakat is due for whatever amount you may be able to withdraw if you choose to. In other words, if you have 100,000 and if you choose to withdraw it, they will deduct 40,000 and they will only give you 60,000, then you are only due to pay zakat on that 60,000. Because that other 40,000, although it is named under by your name, but you actually cannot get it. So you don't have to pay zakat on something that you cannot earn. But make sure that every time that your zakat is due, you have to really look at your asset as well as your stocks, as well as your gold and silver, as well as what you have in those pension plan, 401k, whatever the retirement plan is. Now, last mas'ala is actually debt. People usually borrow from others, or maybe they lend others. So what is the zakat on those? There is a huge difference of opinion about this between our scholars. But the very strong opinion was said by Imam Maymun ibn Mahran, who was one of the greatest tabi'een in the time, or in the time of tabi'een. And it is the opinion that was held, or that is being adopted by many of our scholars and many of our madahib. It says that if you have lent others money, then you can, if you have borrowed money from others, then that money is not yours. So at the time when you are due for zakat, it is the best thing is to return that money to the ones who you have borrowed from. If you cannot, you still need it, then you deduct that money from your own total wealth, from your own total zakatable money, zakatable wealth, because not all of your wealth is due for zakat, of course. We said your home is not due for zakat. So, in other words, your zakat, after you said you calculated the gold and silver, whatever you have in your checking account, in your saving accounts, whatever you have in your stocks, whatever you have in your 401k or other plans, you get the total of this and deduct from it the money that you have borrowed from others. Because this is not your money, so you don't pay zakat on it. On the other hand, people who have lent money, they need to pay zakat on it, except in one situation. If the borrower is in severe debt, there's no hope you can get the money back. So say you have lent 5,000 to person A, and another 10,000 to person called B. B has gone into bankruptcy. There's no way that the person B will get your money back. Then you don't have to pay zakat on this. But for person A, who borrowed those 5,000, and there's a hope that he will return it back to you, then you are due for its zakat because you are the owner of the money. Those are the main principles of zakat, brothers and sisters, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who would put it on time and get the reward of it. Dear brothers and sisters, it is always, always, always better for you to pay more zakat than to pay less zakat than what is due. If you pay more zakat than what is due, then anything above what you need to pay is considered sadaqah, and you will be rewarded for it. Now, last thing that I would like to mention before we finish here is zakat al-fitr. Zakat al-fitr is independent and has nothing to do with zakat al-mal, which is the third pillar in Islam. Zakat al-fitr is due on every human, on every Muslim who has enough food to eat for the remaining of the day. In other words, you don't even have to have that threshold we talked about. Even if you are someone who is really with limited income, you still need to pay zakat al-fitr. And zakat al-fitr is due for every person that you are responsible for. So if you are the household responsible for, say, your three of your family members, then you have to pay zakat fitr on yourself and those three. The amount is one sa', which is almost like 3 kilograms, or maybe it's about 6 or 7, about 7 pounds of things like the rice or wheat or those things that people usually eat. Now there is a difference between fuqaha on the amount. Some of them have made wheat different in a different category, but the thing that vast majority of our ulama have agreed upon is that it is that about 3 kilograms or maybe about 7 pounds of rice, wheat, and things of the same type or the same nature. Now, zakat al-fitr must be done or must be paid before Salat al-Eid for the most of our scholars. Some of them extend it till the end of the day of the Eid, meaning till Adhan al-Maghrib, but the vast majority say you need to pay it before Adhan al-Maghrib, before Salat al-Eid itself. And it is not about paying it. What really counts is actually delivering it to the hand of the needy. So you need to really pay in advance. You can pay it now, and as long as it gets to the hands of the needy before Salat al-Eid. The ulama have said that the best time of delivering zakat al-fitr is one day before Salat al-Eid, or on the same day of Eid before you go to the prayer. Because of the difficult situation right now, most of the people now, they pay their zakat al-fitr like ahead of time, and then they ask others to deliver it on time, just like how you pay it for the Masjid or you pay it for other organization that collect that charity. That the important thing is that in the Shafi'i, Maliki and Hanbali madhab, it needs to go in terms of food, non-perishable food. In the Hanafi madhab, it is permissible to pay it in cash. And some of the ulama, of the recent ulama who follow the other madhab, they said that because of the situation that we are living at right now, it might be really very to the benefit of everyone that we use the opinion of Imam Abu Hanifa to give zakat al-fitr in cash to the people who are in need. The purpose of zakat al-fitr is to make sure that not a single Muslim on the day of Eid will stay hungry. We may have to make sure that they will enjoy the Eid, the day of Eid, just like anyone else. So that is why the zakat is due to be delivered to the hand of the needy before Salat al-Eid. So make sure that inshallah you pay it. Alhamdulillah, the amount that is being estimated this year is about $15 per person. So you pay it for yourself, for your spouse, for your children, even if they are young children. With that, inshallah, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah enables us to perform the zakat and charity and zakat al-fitr in the way that pleases Him. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us always among those whom Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed His bounty on and has enabled them to be the givers, not the borrowers. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us among those who will do their obligatory act of worships on time, the way that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. اللهم يا رحمن يا رحيم يا قيوم السماوات والأرضين نسألك بأسمائك الحسنى وصفاتك العلى أن توفقنا لكل خير. اللهم يا ربنا أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. عباد الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. فاذكروا الله العظيم الجليل يذكركم واشكروا على نعمه يزدكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما صنعتم وأقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمد رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر السلام عليكم ورحمة الله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله استغفر الله استغفر الله استغفر الله اللهم أنت السلام ومنك السلام
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We once again remind you and request you humbly to become a sustainer of the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to pay the utilities, the maintenance, the security of this masjid, inshallah. We'll have a table outside Friday, Saturday night, and Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for brothers and sisters to come forward to help Allah's house, and Allah will help you. This weekend, inshallah, today, share the khair, which is a very special fundraising ISGH does on annual basis. All zakat donations you put today will go to the places where our brothers and sisters are being oppressed, like Gaza, like Syria, like Rohingya in Burma, and other in Kashmir. So please be generous. All 100% of your contributions will be going to organizations who will support there. Very important, inshallah ta'ala, Ramadan Quran competition is tomorrow at 9 a.m. Come attend that program with your children, or just be there to support the kids, inshallah ta'ala, to do beautiful recitations. Zakat al-Fitr is $15. Please pay it as soon as you can. Ramadan Quran competition is tomorrow. Youth events, this is very important. Please pay attention. The girls' Qiyam is tonight, and we need at least 6 chaperones, 3 sisters and 3 brothers. If you have children who are coming to participate in the program, it's only for 13 and above. We want you to come here for their safety, to supervise and make sure everything goes smoothly. If you are interested, preferably 3 couples, fathers and mothers, come to the admin office and I'll sign you up. We'll give you some guidelines and training and all that. Please come forward. Tomorrow, inshallah, is for the boys. We again need about 3 brothers. We don't need sisters for that. 3 brothers, come forward. It will be counted as service, as a qiyam for yourself, and inshallah a protection for our kids. Vendors for champions. We have a beautiful tent. Encourage any vendors who can participate, promote their business, and benefit the masjid with a small contribution. Special needs for family iftar. We have special needs family iftar next Tuesday. Is by registration only. Look at the link and sign up. And then we have a beautiful chart which is still blank. Sponsor a brick for our new educational building. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you abundantly. Please, we need brothers and sisters to volunteer tonight. If you want these events to be successful, come put your time with it. Jazakallah khair.